How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Steins Gate, my darling's embrace. Kyudosu's route. Oh, nope, it's not Kyudosu's route. That was the first route. How dare me? This is shoot. This is Moeka's route. Wow, I am really off here. This really just shows how dedicated I am to the grind. I'm not very dedicated, obviously, but anyways, yeah, welcome back. Moeka's route, not Kirisu's. We already dealt with that route. That was actually the first route, and that's where all the I'm assuming the divergences are for which route you want to go down. I think that's how this route system works. I apparently had gotten confused originally, but yeah, this is the route we're currently on, and it's okay. I'm not really sure what direction it will go in, but I think it's just a flat out she has feelings for Okabe type of deal. That sort of seems to be how it is. So I guess we'll see if anything else actually happens, if there's any sort of, like, you know, issue or whatever that's usually the thing, is what I'm trying to say. But let us continue on. 2 weeks have passed since practice for the video contest had started. Our dedication to practicing every day has started to pay off. We actually sound like we might be able to submit something. Emphasis on might. Moeka, at least when it comes to singing, is beginning to make actual progress. However, singing solo really seems like too much for her. So after discussing it with everyone, we decided to have Mayuri step in as a secondary vocalist. Fubuki-chan is one of Mayuri's cosplay friends. I've never met her. However, you guys can meet her in Steins Gate 0, and yes, I have recorded that for the channel, so if you guys want to watch a older playthrough of mine where I had a shittier mic, then go ahead and look up Steins Gate 0 here up on the channel. Mayuri gives her a big smile. Then, still smiling, she trots over to Moeka. This is what friendship is like. This is probably the first time anyone has ever said something like this to Moeka. She's as expressionless as always, but I can see a slight knit in her brow. Is she confused? No, that's not quite right. I catch her cheeks turning a faint red. She's just embarrassed. Huh. So this is how you can tell what's going on through her mind. I've gotten better at reading her. Moeka finally nods. Yes! With everyone in the standby position, Daru hits his drumsticks. Alright, yeah. That was a little bit of drumming right there. Moeka and Mayuri's twin vocals are way better than I could have imagined. If we had just done this from the start, there wouldn't have been any strange pressure on Moeka. We might actually be able to put together a submission video. I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to keep practicing. However, there's something on my glasses. That was bothering me. The arrival of an unforeseen agent of chaos stops our rehearsal in its tracks. Here's that issue that I was, thinking that was finally going to come up at some point. We hear heavy footsteps on the stairs. It's him. Make no mistake, these footsteps belong to the owner of the Braun tube workshop. This is bad. Did we make too much noise? Sure, he gave us permission to practice, but if the neighbors complained, well, that'd be an entirely different issue. Everyone in the room exchanges nervous glances. Oh, Mr. Braun slowly enters the room and then looks around at us with a sharp glint in his eyes. Lukako lets out a breath that almost sounds like a scream.
店長ごめん。ちょっとうるさかった？
Suzuha is used to dealing with Mr. Braun, so she doesn't seem too freaked out over his presence.
ああ、うるせえのは仕方ねえだろ。昼間なら別に構わねえよ。それより、岡部、ちょいと顔貸せや。
Oh no.
なんだと？
顔貸せって言ってんだ。話がある。
お？
さっさと来い。
Without waiting for my reply, Mr. Braun stomps back down the stairs. What could he possibly want to talk to me about? Oh no, is he going to raise the rent? Crap, 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 I have to stop him.
しっかりね、オカリン。ファイトだにゃ。
ラボの後輩、この一戦にありだお。
骨は拾ってやるからな。
What the?
嫌です。死なないでください、京馬さん。
Okay, some of these are encouragements, others are just like, you know, well, it was nice knowing you. Everyone seems to have the same idea of what's about to go down, seeing me off like a soldier going to war.
私、一緒に。
私も行こっか。
Moeka and Suzuha are being considerate, but I feel that going with a group to talk about this would only sour Mr. Braun's mood, so I decide to head to the front lines alone. I wonder what he wants to talk about.
来たぞ、ミスター・ブラウン。
When I enter the Braun Tube workshop, the man of the hour is in the middle of rummaging through the stuff in his desk.
の、そこへ座れや。
There's a single round chair squeezed between all the Braun Tube TVs. This almost looks like an interrogation room. Honestly, I didn't really bring this up before, but it is a pretty cool looking spot. I don't know how I would feel maybe like being surrounded by a bunch of TVs. I don't even know if they're all plugged in, to be honest. That'd be kind of wacky. Obviously the big one is. I reluctantly take a seat. I actually think I would shop here. I don't know like why I would, but you know, I like TVs like these. I grew up with them. There's like something to them. I'm really getting off topic. What's about to happen? What's he going to say to me? How are things going to go down? My heart is racing a mile a minute. However, I do my best to make my panic, or to mask my panic as I kick things off.
で、何の用だ？
おめえ、この前、真夜中に萌香の部屋にいたろ。
Uh-oh. Oh man, that sounded beautiful. My voice jumped up 3 octaves. I could feel myself going pale, the blood draining from my body as the speed of light, or at the speed of light.
何の話を？
やっぱりそうか。
Mr. Interrogator takes a folded up piece of paper, an envelope from his desk, and stands imposingly in front of me.
部屋にな、男の匂いが残ってた。あと、ゴミ箱にカップ焼きそばが2つ、割り箸も2膳。
Oh man. Shining finger, whatever happened to cleaning up the evidence?
俺じゃないかもしれないだろ。
だから今鎌かけたんじゃねえか。なあ小僧。
Mr. Executioner places his enormous hand on my shoulder with a thud and narrows one of his eyes. This is bad. He might really end up killing me. As I tremble in fear, Mr. Executioner's eyes sharpen as he gruffly asks,
で、どこまで行ってんだ?
Oh no.
どこまでというと？
ほら、あるだろ。男女のA とか B とかよ。
Not!
Oh man, I love his reactions. I nearly fall off the chair.
待ってくれ。俺と指圧師はそんな関係ではない。この前だって仕事で部屋に寄っただけだ。やましいことは何もしてないぞ。
本当か？
本当です。
I didn't mean to cover myself in her underwear. It was all just a bad incident, or accident. Same thing. Mr. Braun suddenly lets out a heavy sigh.
おめえと萌香じゃ何にも起きねえだろうなとは思ってたけどよ。
え？
たく話になんねえな。
I don't really know what to take from this. He holds the envelope out to me.
ほら、受け取れ。
なんだ？
昨日、町内会から回ってきたんだ。
I cautiously open it. What the fuck? Inside is a pair of movie tickets.
子供向けの映画なら、苗を連れてくところなんだがな。
What am I supposed to do with this? As I sit there confused, Mr. Braun thrusts another piece of paper at me.
感謝しろ。おめえのためにわざわざ作っておいてやったぜ。
これは？
開けてみな。
Everything about this screams suspicious. Well, of course. I was expecting the man beast to scream, "How dare you deflower Moeka," before ripping me to shreds or something. I'm certainly relieved that hasn't happened yet, but I still can't help but be on guard as I unfold the paper and look at its contents. What? Perfect date plan and points of notice. My brain can't catch up with reality.
いやー、つい青春時代を思い出しちまったぜ。若いってないいもんだ。
What is this? The notes that you took for your dates back then? Mr. Braun gazes off into the distance. Meanwhile, all I can do is sit there with my jaw hanging low.
てなわけで、今度の日曜開けとけ。萌香には俺から言っといてやる。
ちょ待ってくれ。
なや、うるせえな。ギャーやわめくな。
あんたが無茶なことを言うからだ。
無茶？
だってそうだろう。なんで俺と指圧師がデートなんか。
嫌なのかてめえ。
Mr. Braun roars like a bear assaulting its prey. His muscular body looks like it's grown several times larger, causing me to jump in my chair.
あんな美人の娘とデートできるんだぞ。何が気に入られんだ。あ？
A beauty like her, he's not wrong, but isn't he just a wee bit biased considering the relationship? I'd be murdered on the spot if I said that.
いや、よく考えてみろ、ミスター・ブラウン。そういうのはお互いの気持ちが大切だろ。俺はともかく指圧師が何と言うか。
それだったら案ずることはね。あいつはな、自分でも気づいてねえかもしれねえが、おめえを憎からず思ってるはずだ。喜ぶに決まってる。
そうなのか？
I'm reminded of what Mr. Braun said back in Moeka's place. Moeka likes me. Could that really be the case?
なあ、岡部よ。萌香ああいうやつだし、おめえもそういうやつだ。このままじゃ何も進展しねえまま終わっちまうだろう。だからとにかく一回でいい。デートしてやってくれ。頼む。
Mr. Braun suddenly bows his head to me. I actually fall out of my chair from shock this time.
萌香、確かに愛想がねえし、可愛いことの一つも言えねえ。かなりの変わり者だと思う。けど、本当にいい娘なんだ。そら、おめえだって分かってくれるだろう。な？
I mean, I get you, I guess.
もちろんわかるから、表を開けてくれ、ミスター・ブラウン。
I stagger back up to my chair. Seeing Mr. Braun like this really throws me off. I think I prefer it when he's yelling at me.
あいつはよ、ちょっと不幸な生い立ちをしててな。 俺が親代わりになるまでは、いろいろあったみてえなんだ。そのせいで、あんな風に、人とまともに話すこともできねえ、感情を素直に表すこともできねえ、そんな人間になっちまったんだよ。
Mr. Braun looks up at the ceiling and lets out a long sigh. He's probably thinking of Moeka up in the lab. I remember what she said to me before.
昔、何もかも嫌になって、生きてる意味がわからなくなって、死のうって思った時、天王寺のおじさんが親身になって助けてくれて。
初めて会った頃はな、今よりもっとひどかった。感情ってもんをどこかに落としちまったみてえに。いや、違うな。最初から感情なんてもんを持ってなかったみてえに。うずくまったまま動かねえんだ。どうにかこうにか人らしく生活できるようになって社会に出てからもよ、あいつはどうしても他人に心を開けなかった。そんな姿を見てると俺は不憫で仕方なくてな。
And just then, Mr. Braun's eyes look like they're shining. Even an ogre can shed tears.
それがよ、どんなわけがあるにしろ、男のおめえを自分の部屋に招き入れるなんざ、これはもう奇跡以外の何もんでもねえだろな。少しずつだがあいつは変わり始めてるんだ。おめえたちと付き合うようになってから。だから頼む、あいつの心を開いてやってくれ。それが親代わりの俺の願いだ。
Mr. Braun once again bows his head to me.
Mr. Braun.
I stand up and slip the movie tickets and kind of unnecessary memo, yeah, into my pocket.
誰かの心を開くって、そんな大それたことができるのかどうかよくわからないが、俺だってあいつを放ってはおけない。大切な仲間だからな。
すまねえ。
ただし恋愛云々は別だぞ。勘違いするな。
分かったよ。たく、俺があと10若けりゃあんないい女絶対にほっとかねえがな。
That's good to know, man. I'm telling you, you're just biased because you're her dad. Obviously, I don't say that out loud.
ありがとな、岡部。俺の話はこれでしまいだ。もう戻っていいぜ。
なあ。
I turn around and start to exit the Braun Tube workshop. But just before I make it out, I hear a voice from behind me.
おお、そうだ。最後にもう一つ言っておくことがあった。デートに行くときはよ、もう少し洒落た格好しろや。萌香に恥かかせたらはっ倒すからな。
Oh no. I give him a pained smile. I'll do my best. Yeah? I'm sure that'll work out. Man, this is turning out to be an interesting route. On Sundays, cinema complexes are packed with families and couples. They happily purchase their refreshments in the lobby before heading to their screen of choice. And mixed in with those happy people are us. Moeka and I are looking around us nervously, and we stick out like a sore thumb. It's my first time coming to a place like this, much less on a date, and I have absolutely no idea what to do. Just to be safe, I check the perfect date plan and points of note concerning cinemas memo that Mr. Braun gave me. When buying drinks and snacks, you treat. Don't even think of splitting the bill. No matter how boring the movie is, don't sleep. Sleep, and I'll hit you. When the movie ends, talk about your thoughts in a fun way. This thing is useless. As I internally curse Mr. Braun, Moeka sends me an email. I'm sorry, Tenoshi-san can be pretty hard-headed once he settles on something.
いや、俺も別に嫌々来ているわけではないから気にするな。
In a rare moment for her, Moeka wears her feelings on her face. Whether out of surprise or confusion, her eyes blink rapidly behind her glasses. Her deep amber-colored eyes stare right at me. I immediately start walking to hide my own embarrassment.
ほら、映画始まる。中に入るぞ。
I wonder what they're gonna watch. Moeka and I enter the theater and sit down in a pair of seats that just happen to be open. Okay, well this is interesting. The film's a romance. That said, the story doesn't just blindly focus on the romantic elements. There are plenty of funny and sad moments, making it the perfect date flick. The lead is an actress popular in women's magazines, and actually she kind of looks like Moeka. Why is the art direction in this is so much different than what you see like everywhere else in Steins Gate? It's very off-putting. When said actress embraces the man she loves while in bed with him, the two begin to whisper sweet nothings to one another. This is starting to get a little awkward. Feeling the need to cool off, I reach for my drink. Moeka just happens to do the same thing, or to do so at the same time, and our hands gently touch. Ah, yes. I love it when that happens. Every time. We both hurriedly pull our hands back. Hey, wait a second. Are we a middle school couple or something? Yes. While reflecting my own lameness, the spot on my hand that touched hers feels oddly warm. What am I supposed to do? The concept of a date doesn't even exist within the perfect framework that is Hyoin Kyoma's mind. The tension-filled 2 hours fly by. I went on a date to see a movie one time. I don't remember what the movie was about at all. I don't even know if it actually exists. After the movie, there's a stylish little cafe in the lobbies, so we decide to have coffee.
恋愛映画なんてほとんど見たことがなかったが、ちゃんと腰を据えてみればなかなか面白いものだな。
小説を書く時の刺激になった。
小説？ああ、例の携帯小説か。そういえばあれって恋愛ものだったよな。
そう。
しかも女の子たちに大人気なんだよな。
一応。
デートシーンとかどうしてるんだ？
According to Mr. Braun, Moeka has about as much romance experience as I do. So how is she writing that sort of stuff?
勘。
勘？
I mean, that's how people write fan fictions, right?
なんとなくだいたいイメージで。
そうか。
Considering the praise she receives from readers, she must be one hell of a talented writer. Putting Kirisu aside, who seems to just be in love with the idea of love itself? Mayuri, Lukako, and Ferris all said it was a good read.
シアツ氏は才能があるんだな。あの本かなり売れてるそうじゃないか。
でも最近ちょっと。
Writer's block. Ah, I'm having some trouble. The story's gotten super serious, but I'm not sure how to wrap it all up.
大変だな。すまないが、俺は読んだことがないんだ。どんな話なんだ？
The protagonist is kind of traumatized. She thinks that nobody needs her. At first, she's kind of an introvert. Then she meets a guy at work and falls in love. For the first time in her life, she feels like somebody needs her. and she gradually becomes more cheerful and outgoing. That's the main story. I see. And it's pretty orthodox overall, but it sounds like a nice little tale. The problem is that around the point when the protagonist is trying to get back on her feet, she says this to the boy she loves: people are able to live their lives because they're needed by others. If no one needs them, what point is there in living? Nobody needs me. The boy desperately wants to tell her that's not true, but I just can't think of the right line for him. What can he say that help her stand on her own 2 feet? As I read Moeka's text, I found myself nodding. Yeah, this is a toughie. The more you try to polish the text with cool lines or rhetorical flourishes, the larger the chance that the reader can't follow the story.
そうだな。こういう時は割とストレートな方が。
I raised my eyes from my cell phone screen to speak directly at Moeka. And Moeka's gaze is pointed directly behind me.
どうした？
Moeka frantically turns her eyes back to me. No, I'm pretty sure Mr. Braun's right behind us. Out of curiosity, I turn around, and there I see a family happily walking through the lobby. There's a young girl, maybe an elementary school student, smiling as she holds hands with her mother and father. It seems as though Moeka was watching them. Oh, I thought Mr. Braun was like sitting behind us and making sure everything was going well. And then suddenly I can I can hear Mr. Braun's words in the back of my head. Uh-oh.
あいつはよ、ちょっと不幸な生い立ちをしててな。俺が親代わりになるまでは、いろいろあったみてえなんだ。
Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. I see. Oh, not specifically, but like I have an idea.
No, yeah.
I grab my coffee off the table and gulp it down. I definitely just burned my tongue. That's gonna suck when it starts to peel.
そろそろ行くか。ミスター・ブラウンね。次はどこへ行けと言うんだ?
I look at the aforementioned useless memo. Listed on it are a host of different locations like Hakiejima and Odaiba, among others, the most cliched date spots you could think of, along with the transportation needed to reach them. Man, he really thought things out for us for whatever reason. Just as Mr. Braun instructed, we ended up visiting a handful of different spots. And this goes without saying, but all the popular places are jam-packed with visitors. It is the summer after all. In the end, I could no longer tell whether we were on a date, or if we had just been tossed into some life or death survival game. It was time to give up. God damn. Alrighty, so we're gonna end it here. I think this is an okay spot to wrap it up. We'll see how the rest of this day with Moeka goes next time. And I'm assuming at some point we're gonna learn a little bit more about Moeka. I don't really care too much for her character, but that is kind of interesting. And that we're going to finally get to know her backstory here in a side game, which I guess that's sort of the point of the side games. You're supposed to learn more about the characters in some sort of way, whether it's personality or whatever else. So I guess that's something to look forward to. I haven't been entirely bored. I wasn't really looking forward to any Moeka route, whether in this side game or linear bounded phenogram. But so far, so good. I think we're doing okay. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.